All right, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining today's panel. I'm really excited to offer this one. This is going to be our final program for 2021. I think we saved a really strong one to go out on. We've got a really great expert panel here. Things to know to TikTok like a pro. So we've assembled a diverse panel of experts in the TikTok arena, all of whom will provide some very valuable and unique perspective on this increasingly influential social media channel. I know myself, a lot of other practitioners, this is sort of a gray area. Maybe you don't have a whole lot of expertise in it yet. So we're really looking forward to some great dialogue today. For many PR pros, the TikTok takeover is a frequent topic of conversation. Clients are wondering if they should hop on the trend, and practitioners are striving to learn how to use the channel effectively. As a social media channel with a realm of possibilities, TikTok requires practitioners to keep an eye on trends and best practices. This panel will cover why you should be watching TikTok and how organizations can benefit from this next big thing. A few housekeeping items before we get going. Please feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we're going through the program. We will cover those at the end. Our moderator will walk through each of those questions. We'll cover as many as possible. Hopefully we'll get to all of them. But this is definitely, an interesting topic, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions, so please feel free to get those in there. And so lastly, before I move on here, if you have a few extra minutes at the end and want to stick around, our panel is going to go from noon to 1. We're going to stick around. We'll keep it open for some casual networking. If you've been on some of our other virtual panels over the last year or so, you may have seen that. We'll move everybody that sticks around from a participant over to a panelist, and so you can all stick around and have some casual networking with the panelists, just general talking and conversation. But before we proceed with the panel today, I'd like to read PRSA's antitrust statement, which we read at the beginning of all PRSA panels and meetings. PRSA's policy is to comply fully and strictly with all federal and state antitrust laws. Meetings and programs held under the auspices of PRSA must be conducted in a manner that avoids the fact or appearance of conduct that may violate the antitrust laws. Participants are not to discuss industry-wide or individual company prices, current or projected, or matters relating to pricing, such as costs, profits, contractual terms and conditions, like discounts or credit terms, wages, salaries, market allocation, market shares, sales, or clients and customers, or any competitively sensitive information. Compliance with the antitrust laws is a requirement for PRSA membership, and responsibility for compliance rests with each member. Participants in PRSA meetings and programs have an obligation to terminate any discussion, seek legal counsel's advice, or if necessary, terminate any meeting if the discussion might be construed to raise any antitrust risks. With that said, it's my pleasure to introduce today's moderator, Dakwanda Johnson. Dakwanda Johnson believes the field of public relations and social media is more than just an occupation. It's a calling. With more than 15 years of experience within the communications and public relations sector, Dakwanda Johnson is the social media strategist at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, Michigan. Dakwanda is responsible for leading the charge for all social media efforts while displaying the university's culture online. She also serves as the liaison between the Division of Communication in various colleges and departments, ensuring essential messaging and best practices are utilized across the different social media platforms. When she is not at EMU, the Thought After speaker assists faith-based organizations in displaying their ministry's cultures online. With that, it is truly my pleasure to hand the conversation here over to Dakwanda Johnson so she can introduce our panelists and get the discussion going. Dakwanda, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Hello, everyone. And as Jeff was saying, thank you so much for joining PRSA Detroit here in our amazing event. I'm excited. I know that some of our attendees are most definitely excited because let's just be honest, everybody wants to jump on this train called TikTok and they have no clue how. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I want to go straight on in and introduce our panelists today. We were laughing and joking beforehand because we were going through last names, and I've had everything from Takwanda to tequila and beyond. So I apologize ahead of time. The panelist knows my heart already. So first and foremost, we have Chad Swarovski. He is the digital communications expert at Trustman Rossman Scott Rossman. Chad ensures that the firm's clients are using the latest tools and technologies to reach their target audiences, building on his unique skill set and creativity. Chad successfully plans and implements digital strategies for clients across a wide range of industries. His expertise includes web design, development and implementation, social and digital strategy, and digital advertising strategy. Prior to joining Scott Rossman team, Chad planned and implemented full featured, hard-hitting digital media campaigns while serving as the director of digital media for the Michigan AFL-CIO, Mark Scherner for governor, and Progress Michigan. He's an MSU grad with a BA in political science. He was born and raised in Michigan and has a lifelong interest in politics, business, and technology. Hey, Chad, welcome. All right, next we have Sarah D Haan. Sarah graduated from Grand Valley State University in December of 2020 with a bachelor's in advertising and public relations. During her time at Grand Valley, she was a social media intern for Creative Space in the downtown Grand Rapids area, photography intern for Grand Valley's magazine, and did an on-campus marketing for Faygo Soda. I love me some Rocket Rye. I know I'm not the only person. And started a fast-growing graphic illustrations business during the quarantine. Talk about using that quarantine time, girl. I love it. After graduation, she moved to New York City to pursue social media management. She freelanced for a dental firm, a women's platform, startup, and many more. After more than 6 months of freelancing, she founded, is it Meraki Agency? Am I saying it right? I'm sorry, sir. With Jillian Yoker. Meraki Agency is a social media agency that specializes in social media management, branding, and strategy, copywriting, and content creation. Her goal is to help businesses succeed and grow, but also to continue learning about social as it evolves. Welcome, Sarah. We have Eric Malley. Eric's an award-winning content creator with over a decade's worth of experience creating social and digital content for clients ranging from nonprofits to automotive to B2B technology and everywhere in between. Eric, you my type of man. I like to call you the great melting pot, sir. His strategic and data-driven approach focuses on ensuring clients' digital content is not only informative and engaging, but also drives measurable results. Welcome, Eric. And last but not least, we have Tega Auroria. She's born in Nigeria. Tega and her family migrated from the United Kingdom to the United States and now reside in Detroit, Michigan. Tega is a young Black woman committed to creating positive content that uplifts people from all backgrounds and advocate for mental health, women's health, education, and equality. Tega's authenticity and kindness have garnered a following of millions of people looking to be inspired, with 2.4 million followers on TikTok. My girl, that's what I'm talking about. And 72,000 on Instagram. Tega's following is growing at a fast rate. Notable companies Tega has worked with includes Pepsi, FX Network, Disney, and much more. Welcome, Tega. So I am excited to get into this conversation with each and every one of you. I know that the others are most definitely, attendees are definitely excited. So we're just gonna jump right on in to our discussion today. And I am going to kick this thing off actually with Chad. So let's talk a little bit about TikTok, Chad. Like, I have to ask, what was like your first approach when it came to TikTok?
My first approach when it came to TikTok is really similar to every approach I've taken, not only for myself, but for my clients to every other platform. It's kind of interesting that we're having this conversation where everyone's asking, is TikTok worth doing? And the short answer to that is very simple. Is your target audience on TikTok? And is it going to help you achieve your objective? If the answer to either of those is no, then no, it probably doesn't make sense. But I almost want to step back a little bit and ask ourselves, well, why are we asking this question? And I kind of have a little bit of a pet theory about which social media platforms really influence the quote unquote zeitgeist. And the way I kind of measure that, again, this isn't necessarily scientific, but through personal experience and other people I've talked to have kind of seen a truth in this, but it's what content from one platform is being shared on another platform. And as an example, I would say that, you know, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you see TikToks there all the time. I don't see any tweets or any Instagram posts or any Facebook posts on TikTok. And that really kind of helps you establish influential hierarchy, like what's really driving the quote unquote social media space. And that reality, and I've heard it in my own business and the clients we work for, is like, you know, it's easy to kind of latch on to TikTok as this very bright and shiny object. But we should really kind of, you know, it might work for you, but it also might not. So I'll go back to the first thing I said, which is it's about your objective, it's about your target audience and the story you're going to tell. And if you don't have a really solid plan for that, it's probably not going to make sense, because then you'll put yourself in a position of having launched something with no long-term plan, no way to ladder it up to KPIs. And then the rest of your existence will be answering why you have this TikTok and why you're investing these resources in it without any ROI on the back end. One example I would give is we had worked with a client, and this was actually a couple years ago. So it was almost still in its quote unquote infancy, I guess. And they wanted to reach a very specific target audience. Now, for most of this client's needs, like TikTok would never be on the table, but for this specific one, it was college students. And as part of that, as an overall campaign, we included TikToks among a mix of other platforms. And TikTok, for this specific audience, actually performed really well. It had the lowest CPM and the lowest cost per click and a very competitive click-through rate, which told us we're reaching the right people. It's not costing a lot of money. We're driving enough traffic, and the engagement level, the click-through rate is high enough to justify it against other platforms. And that's the approach that we like to take.
And I'm muted, and I apologize for that. That was really good. And I saw some shaking of heads from Eric and Sarah. So I want to pose that same question to you. And especially, I'm going to actually shoot this over to Eric, knowing like what Chad just said about pretty much, you know, fishing where the fish are, right? Like going to the pond where the fish are. Like, let's talk a little bit about that. And especially knowing that this is a growing platform still, individuals are jumping on daily. And let's be honest, like there are some clients or even your current business or place of employment that somebody comes in your office and says, we need a TikTok. And yeah. So how do you answer that?
That's a great question, because it does happen a lot. And, you know, to echo what Chad said, really, like anytime you're developing any social media strategy, and this goes for TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, we really have to take a step back and ask yourself, okay, what are the goals of joining TikTok, right? Like, is it just to create cool content? Is your audience there? Are you trying to drive business results? Are you trying to sell stuff? Because really, like on TikTok, above all platforms, it does seem that like the perfectly polished, you know, brand corporate videos and things of that nature aren't what's going to drive those business results for you. So are you going to see a valuable return on investment by creating that beautifully polished content? Or, you know, would we post that content elsewhere? Because TikTok is a unique platform, like they all are, and you really have to do that audience segmentation to see, are they there? Are they going to drive business results? And are they going to justify the investment and resources into developing a TikTok channel?
That is good. So Sarah, in your experience, when it comes to, you know, working with, you freelance for a while and now you have your, you know, your own agency. First off, congratulations. That's a big deal. That is a huge deal. So bravo to you. So let's talk a little bit about how you've used that even in the midst of your transitioning from freelancing to starting your own business.
Right. Well, I think it's definitely kind of what you guys had touched on a bit about how TikTok is this new shiny thing where everybody is seeing companies and just normal people blowing up on TikTok, and they want to basically get jumping into it. And I think a lot of the stigma on TikTok is that it's intended for a younger audience, like Gen Z or maybe millennials. But I think it's really important for huge brands or companies to note that like brands like Ryanair, Empire State Building, I think Scrub Daddy is also on TikTok/Instagram. And if you ask them what their intended target audience, I don't think they would say it's Gen Z or millennials. But I would say that they fit themselves into the current trends, and they may not have targeted their original target audience, which may have been an older crowd, something like that, but they created brand awareness. And for companies normally wouldn't even spend five seconds looking at. So from doing this, they're actually able to expand their target audience while creating traction and engagement from their brand. So I think it's really cool to be able to talk to clients and they say, hey, I want to fit into TikTok. How can I do that? And so we find them a way to fit into TikTok by participating in these trends and not showing that everything is perfect as it seems, showing like the fun things about their brand and what they support. And that's kind of at the end of the day, what customers and consumers look at as well.
So how have you gotten like your clients out of their comfort zone, right? I think that's like a big thing, like when you, at least what I've seen like from TikTok and, you know, of course, like at the university, I'm usually the face of our social. So for me, it was easy for me to jump on that bump, you know, trend or whatever and go with it and just, you know, keep rolling. But then there's that one client that just, let's be honest, like they're just not up on pop culture. They, you know, trying to just thinking about dancing in front of a, you know, in front of the camera is just not their forte. Like, how have you gotten them out of their comfort zone to tap into the trends that are happening?
Well, definitely something to note too is that not all brands can be funny. Sometimes the person behind the brand, kind of like you said, maybe they can take an approach where they're more informative, where they show like a green screen or something in the background and they talk about what they could do or what they could fix, something like that relating to their brand. So I guess it's important to note that you don't have to hop onto the trends, but you can find your own niche and maybe that will become something that's more popular. So you just create what works for you, and your brands and your follower, your company, or your customers and your followers will follow you.
Awesome. I love it. So I want to go into, Tega, I want to like switch it up and talk to you a little bit about your influence as an influencer on TikTok. Girl, just tell us your journey. Like what happened? Like you just decided one day to wake up and be like, you know what? I'm gonna get on TikTok and whatever happens out here in these streets. Like share with us, like what would your journey look like?
Yeah, no, it was very interesting. I'll put it as that. So I was that person who was like, literally a couple months before, I was like, I will never download TikTok. It will take all my data. No. I'm like yelling at my friends about it. And so it's like a week before quarantine, like in Michigan, before like everything went on lockdown, and I was bored and I was like, I didn't have work and I just ended up downloading TikTok. I got hooked. I spent the entire weekend literally just watching TikToks. And that's what I did for like 3 months. I was watching TikToks, seeing how people were doing things, not hopping in on trends, but pretty much finding my own community as well. And one of the things was like react videos. It was really funny because a lot of times when I'm watching these videos, I would just kind of say things in my head. And for once I was just like, I'm just going to say it out loud and record myself and react to it. I didn't know that a lot of people would be interested in my viewpoint in any way, shape, or form. So in the middle of June, I decided to post my first react video. I didn't do that well in the sense of, if I compare it now, you know, I got 10,000 views on my first video ever. So that was like crazy. And then I started to learn different skills and things like that. And I just kept going. I used to and still do enjoy people, you know, saying, oh my God, your videos brighten my day. Oh my God, this helped me through a dark time. And that's the reason I just kept going. I just kept making more videos. I think when I started, I was recording at 8 a.m. each day, and I was recording like 10 videos to 12. And then I would end the night at like 8 p.m. at night, and I was recording like another 15 videos. I was posting close to like 18 to 20 videos a day, like putting in all this work, because it's like, you're doing it because you're, you know, satisfying a need that people need at that time. Everyone was locked in their houses. So everyone was on TikTok. They still are, but that was kind of my journey. And then everything changed on like September 28th. I was actually on my way to a client's location. Another thing that I do other than TikTok is I work as a political campaign manager. So I work with clients across the state of Michigan. One of them was in Mount Pleasant. So every Saturday I would make like the 2-hour drive back there and then the 2-hour drive back. So I'm like 20 minutes away from Mount Pleasant. I stop at this rest stop. I like put my phone in, and something inspired me to like make this really random message of just like continue. It was something my mom said to me all the time. And 2019 was a really hard year for me, as well as 2020. I was getting really sick and I was dealing with like viruses and infections, and actually got COVID. And so that was just like not a fun experience. So I just needed this, and I just recorded this like 30-second video. I was talking about like fight through your depression, fight through your anxiety, and I posted it. And then as soon as I got to Mount Pleasant, it was at 20,000 likes within the course of 20 minutes. And it kept going and it kept going. And then an account or a news article or a publication called Upworthy saw my video. They saved my video and posted it on their Instagram. And then it took off from there and absolutely changed my life. It was funny because the first person who shared that video from Upworthy was Jennifer Gardner. She's really sweet, actually super sweet, because I messaged her and I was like, thanks for sharing my video. She's like, oh my God, it was so inspiring. Like everyone needs to see it. So she shared it on Instagram, and to see like Netflix executives, Hulu executives, like actual actors, the guy from Scrubs shared my video, like E-News executives. It was crazy. And then it blew up even more because it got shared by Viola Davis. And I'm sitting here like, my role model, my idol is sharing my video right now.
Listen, I would have tripped out. I would have tripped out like Viola, like Viola.
I
Like,
did.
no, not Viola down the street, Viola. Like, that's a big thing.
Yeah, no, I freaked out. I recorded a video of me freaking out at that exact moment, and it just kept going from there. And I still share inspirational videos, but I really focus more on React videos as well. And it just kind of took off from there. As soon as by the time it was December 29th, I think, I was at 100,000 followers or 900,000 followers. January 16th, the next year, I was at 1 million. And as of today, I'm getting close to 2.5 million, just because I consistently am doing what I'm doing. I'm picking the right videos, I'm sharing the right messages. I'm just kind of having fun and being who I am. And yeah, that's really my journey. It helped a little bit that like celebrities share my content, and they still do. It was really funny because an executive who works on Gina and Georgia is one of my mutuals, and she shares all my video all the time. We talk all the time, and she's like, oh my God, this video is hilarious, great for sharing. And she shares my content too. So then her cast will share my content, and then random people I didn't even know existed will share my content. And then my favorite actor will share my content. And I just sit here and I'm just like, thanks. I don't know what else to say, but thank you. And so that's kind of my journey. It's just a lot of people sharing my content and enjoying it. And it's been very life-changing, honestly. So yeah.
Would you say just, to the person that's sitting back watching this, just do it, right? I think that's kind of where we're getting around to. Of course, we have way more questions, and there's some questions coming in, so we'll most definitely get to that. But I think like what we're saying is like, just do it. Like if you go do it, jump all in. Like, so
I agree.
Yeah, that is so good. So Eric, I'm gonna switch it over to you, right? Like we're talking about like just doing it, getting right on in. And Tega, we're gonna come back and talk about some of the brands that you've established work with a little bit later. But I want to hit on this about algorithms, right? Because we're hearing, a whole lot when it comes to just that experience as far as, who's gonna see my stuff? Do I need to put hashtag, YFP with the smiley face, side smiley face? Like, what do I need to do in order to get my content in the face of all of these other people, right? And I've even heard some things as far as the transferring of content, like Chad mentioned earlier, is like, you may not see it you see it on Facebook and you see it on, everywhere else, but of course you're not gonna, some content just isn't interchangeable. So let's talk a little bit about that algorithm process and like, what do we really know about TikTok's algorithm right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the one thing that I do know about TikTok's algorithm is that it seems to know my interests significantly better than I know my interests at this point. Like, I never thought that I would be interested in watching videos of people dumping gummy candies into Rubbermaid bins, but next thing you know, I'm sucked into it for like 2 hours, right? Because it just keeps feeding me and feeding me and feeding me. I think that, Taya definitely touched on an interesting point that I think is of like at least in my opinion, the most tantamount in terms of TikTok strategy is that authenticity is key. Like, I think that, what makes Tega so successful is that she's authentic and she is who she is on her content. And that's what works the best. And it does sort of tie back into what we talked about with the polished, beautiful, produced videos for brands and how that doesn't necessarily work on TikTok as much as authenticity does. Basically, what we know about the TikTok algorithm is that the For You page bases the recommended content off of how a user interacts with similar content, right? So it can be anywhere from accounts you follow, accounts you've unfollowed, videos you marked as not interested, but the most important metric is like how long you interact with that video. Like, if you watch a particular TikTok through to completion or close to it, odds are you're going to start getting very, very similar videos served into your feed as a result of it. I think the one thing that's also important to know about TikTok's algorithm is that it doesn't necessarily base recommendations off a follower count. Like, I think that a lot of times, you can see it on Instagram and other platforms that if you're following certain brands or influencers or whoever, you're more likely to see that content based off of the follower count. But really, it all comes down to great content. Like, that's the one thing that we have to remember with any social media platform, not just TikTok, but content is king, right? So if you have good content, it's going to figure out a way to get to the front of the For You page at some point because people are going to be interacting with that content, watching it through. And the emphasis really is just on that really, really good sound content. As for hashtags, they're definitely important, but like not in the way, at least in my opinion, that they are on like other platforms. Like, you'll see brands that are just jumping into the hashtags of the day into their content. FYP is always going to be their For You page. For a while there, Forza 5 was trending on like every single brand's hashtag because Forza 5 just came out and was a video game. And as a result, people will interact with that hashtag, and then the algorithm's going to start seeing, okay, this user clicked on hashtag gummy candy dumps, right? And the next thing you know, they're going to see that you're going to start getting more and more of that content because you interacted with that hashtag. So amongst hashtags too also comes with trends, sounds, the trends of the day. That's probably one of the biggest challenges for brands right now on TikTok is looking through the TikTok terms and conditions and figuring out if they can incorporate the trending sounds. That's a major challenge that we've been having with some of our clients, that their legal department, worries that the sounds are going to be violating copyright infringement and copyright laws. So they're a little less, inclined to utilize that, which is a downfall for brands because sounds is like, it's not like an afterthought, like when it comes to TikTok, but it's like right at the front center and it needs to be a part of it. So if you're having a hard time navigating with your legal department to jump on the trends, then it's going to be a challenge to get that organic reach on the For You page from TikTok's algorithm.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like how, I know you said that there's some brands that are have you had a personal, was there a personal brand that you've worked with where, you wanted to jump on something, you couldn't jump on it, because the legal department got involved, and how did you pivot?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still having those discussions with that brand right now because, even the TikTok, the terms and conditions are, all their terms and conditions, they're subject to interpretation, right? So it's just a matter of figuring out like how to interpret it and have it make sense because it's definitely paramount. It's a massive challenge, and you have to have clients and legal teams that are a little bit willing to like push the envelope a little bit and sort of like, nudge a little bit closer to that line and maybe even cross that line and, ask for forgiveness later, and that's sort of what I'm like elbowing my clients into doing. Be like, come on, we can probably do that, right? Like, this can work, it's not going to hurt you. So yeah, it's a challenge though.
That's good. Chad, I saw you laughing. So you must have had an experience and that just hit home for you. So I want to throw it at you too.
Thank you. I guess. To Eric's point, you know, like one of the things he touched on, which really hit home for me, is that like their terms and conditions are open to interpretation. And, you know, we had a client and we were advertising about something that is very important and critical to people's lives and health. But from their, you know, automated process, it seemed like we were doing something we shouldn't be doing. And it went through so many iterations, and their own automated internal process was like flagging it as inappropriate, when in fact, what we were trying to do was actually very beneficial for people. It took a long process to reach a human being to get there. And, you know, this, for people who especially work in healthcare or other industries, some of those things fall under certain categories, not only on TikTok, but across the brand. So you need to be very careful, and understand that at the outset, if it gets rejected or turned off, it's probably just falling, you know, victim to an automated flag. Once you work through that escalation process, you can resolve the issue and then actually get it out there in the world so that you can achieve the objectives of the brands that you're representing. And that's really critical, not letting it scare you away, and understanding that these are written rules, but they're all open to interpretation. And if you make a compelling argument, you can win that argument.
That is good. Sarah, do you have anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. I definitely agree that the algorithm is very interesting and almost scary as to how well it knows you. And I definitely think that it's important for brands to kind of realize that the great thing about TikTok in comparison to Instagram or Facebook and stuff is that you can reach people that that normally don't follow you. So you can reach anybody, and any small business can go viral. Any one person kind of, but what Tega said is that anybody can go viral, and then your life changes from there, or your company changes from there. And I also think too, it is really hard to get brands to jump onto TikTok. But if you do that, you have like maybe like 5 seconds of somebody's attention from that algorithm as well, to basically grab their attention and maybe have them interested in your brand, follow you, look into your services. So definitely the algorithm is very important in hitting those trends. And sometimes it is a little bit harder with clients if they say, like, I'll think about the trend for a little bit, let me see. And then by that point, the trend's over. There's a new trend. We need to like move on at that moment too. So definitely the algorithm is something to keep in mind for brands, but definitely something, a great way for them to utilize, with whether or not trending sounds, kind of like Eric said, or trending hashtags at the moment as well.
That's good. So I'm gonna go there a little bit. And as I'm pretty sure you've seen around TikTok as well as around Instagram about Black creators, you know, creators of color, and just people feeling like they're flagged and blacklisted, and you know, the whole 9 yards. So I want to go there, and I want to talk a little bit about that, and especially like even your experience, like especially when we're talking about terms and conditions, and you know, really, do they violate? Do they not violate? Somebody hating on somebody? Let's just talk about it.
So this is actually an interesting thing. And also shout out to my agent, Emily, who's here. She knows I vent to her all the time of my experiences. It is not easy being a content creator of color, hands down. It's not. I think it is shown, it is proven. TikTok even came with a creator of color incentive program, because they were like, yeah, our creators of colors are suffering. I didn't think I was going to do well in any way, shape, or form. On a daily basis, I experience racism, bigotry. It is daily. I spend more time on my comment sections deleting hate comments every single day. It can bog you down. It sucks. I have to
I know
follow,
it can, because yeah.
It's not great. On a daily basis, I do have to look at the terms and conditions. A good example was I did a video reacting to a lady who had extremely long nails, and her nails, she was showing us how she does her daily like life and stuff with these extremely long nails. And these are like ruler lengths. One of them, basically I was just kind of commenting on what she was doing. The video was taken down in the course of 10 minutes. And my process to appeal it took 2 to 3 days, compared to my counterpart creator of color who did the exact same video, or white creator, sorry, who did the exact same video. Their video went viral and stayed up. And I was like, what did I do wrong? We had the same commentary, we did everything. I'm not gonna sit here and say the app is racist, but the app does not push creators of color compared to creators who don't look like me, honestly. I work, I push, I fight hard. I'm not gonna stop fighting. We call it out when we need to. I think TikTok realized that when creators of color boycotted the app and showed that, you know,
I remember that.
And also showed that like how creators of colors actually set the trend standards. We set all the trends, and it's followed by whiter creators who tend to take those trends and then claim it as their own. I think that was definitely shown in the Jamila thing, and how she created a viral TikTok dance, and she was the creator, and it took Addison Rae and Charlie D'Amelio, and they were making millions and millions of dollars off of it, until Black creators and creators on the app were calling them out. And it was like, hey, you can't be making millions of dollars off of something you didn't create, but you made popular because of this. And it's hard. I have to follow, I guess their terms and conditions are stricter for people like me. And I have to walk a very thin line, but it's also not, it's also there to protect in a sense, you know? But there is some give and take. There is some things that need to be worked out on the app, but it will take some time. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's gonna take some time.
We're gonna be optimistic. We are going to be optimistic. Like, look,
sure.
It's gonna take some time, but change is gonna come. Okay, that's what we're rooting for. Change is gonna come. Chad, I want to shoot it over to you. Do you have any feedback?
I'm actually just going to reshoot it back to Tega because of something she had said the other day, which was I found really fascinating and valuable, if you're willing to talk about it, not only for the PR industry and the ethics involved, but for our brands as well. And Tega, you had mentioned that, you know, a lot of content creators talk to one another. They understand.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if you feel comfortable talking about it, that'd be a huge benefit to everyone on the call.
Yeah, for sure. And again, my agent Emily's here. She will help answer this one. But we do talk to each other. And here was the prime example. So my first big deal working with a client was FX. They reached out to me and they wanted me to promote one of their newest TV shows. I was very confused why you reached out to me. I was like, okay, cool. I'm excited. Great. I wanted them to reach out to me for American Horror Story, but I'm going to take it. That's what I'm going to go with. So when they reached out to me, they actually like very much lowballed me on the offer. I think at the time it was actually at like 1.2 million. And I found out later on there was another creator who had more following, very much lowballed me. I went back and forth with other creators talking in the community of like, hey, FX reached out to me about this. Funny enough, one of my content creator friends, Chef John, also got reached out to FX for a different deal, which he also got lowballed. Then that spiraled into conversations with other people who were reaching out to FX. There was common denominators in that sentence, in that situation where whiter creators were getting paid more than people of color. Me as a creator who had the same amount of followers with another creator who they reached out with, whiter creator was paid more. My content was reaching more people, but they still got paid more. It then came back to an email where it was like, hey, I know this person, I talked to this person, this is what I should be paid, this is what I deserve, and this is what I know is right. And they were like, yeah, but like, we need to see your engagement. Pulled up my engagement, compared it to the other creator that had the same following and their engagement. It was like, so why were they paid more? Why were they giving more money when my engagement was higher? My following was higher. My people actually watch what I'm posting constantly. So that was a not great experience, but it was great because we were able to talk about what was going on in our community. Like, why are people getting paid more and why are people getting paid less? And also created this grapevine of content creators who are willing to talk about. We are our own community as a whole. Verified or non-verified creators will talk to each other. If you're a creator on the app and you feel like something's happened, you'll talk to each other. We will stand up for each other. We will call companies out. We will rally together and basically shut down a business if you're racist or bigoted. Like, we do that. It's a community who really cares, and it's a conversation that started like as of right now. So for example, I don't know if you've seen this on the news about a waitress who got tipped like $4,000 from a company, and the company took her money and the company lied, and now they're on the media. The funny thing is, creators have proof. They have videos of timeline evidence. They have interviews. They have text messages. We're sharing it all out. We all came together. We're giving all the facts, and we're like, you're not going to sit here and lie. You're not going to sit here and take someone's money, and you're not going to lie to the person who originally started this. So it shows TikTok has a lot of power. It has a lot of power in the fact of people can talk and you create a community. And I think as a content creator, brands need to understand that TikTokers know their worth. And I was a young TikToker at the time. I didn't know my worth. It took getting amazing friends, amazing content creators, a great agent who was able to be like, this is your worth. This is what you need to be doing, and this is what you need to be fighting. So I think brands as a whole need to understand that creators are smart. They will talk, and if they talk about you negatively, it can shut you down immediately. And that's not like a threat or anything. It's just proven in fact. Because as of right now, people are limiting their work with the coldest water bottle brand. They like to lowball people really, really badly. So they're getting less and less content creator content because they're not valuing the space as a whole. So yeah.
That is good. So Chad, I want to talk a little bit about, like, you know, we brought up the fact of interchanging content, right? And with Facebook and Instagram now, like, offering reels as a feature, of course, we know that's a bite off of TikTok. What do you think about the future and what that looks like for social, for the social front? And do you think like TikTok will one day surpass the other channels in terms of like active users and features and such? Let's chat about that.
So if I had the right answer to this question, Eric, you mentioned this yesterday, I would not be here. I would be on an island somewhere else. But I will give it my best shot at it. And you know, over the years, what's fascinating to think about TikTok is it actually was, it had a predecessor, Vine. A lot of the content, some of the videos, the concepts.
Nobody remembers Vine. Let's be real. Nobody remembers. Vine. It's like it came and gone. Yeah. Like, ooh, and we're done.
People are like, oh, TikTok, this has never been done before. Well, it has. And I don't use this term lightly, but there is a, you know, the platforms steal everyone else's features. It isn't just like that now. It has always been like that. So if something works on another platform, every other platform is going to roll it out. So can TikTok pass, you know, Facebook and active users? I think it could, especially outside of the United States. I'm not entirely sure if it will surpass it in the United States, but I'd also say that doesn't necessarily matter as much. It's the function that TikTok fulfills. It will either succeed or someone will buy it. So if I had to put money on a horse, I would say whoever has the most money will win the race.
That's good right there. That is good. I most definitely agree with you on that one. So Tega, I want to go back as far as like your opportunities to work with like established brands from a marketing perspective. You know, we know that you've worked with various ones. So talk to us about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process, I think, for sure. I think most of the brands I work with all have reached out to me. I'm in the stage of also reaching out to them. It's a back and forth game. I think, I guess if I had to do it from a creator standpoint to now and give you a timeline on the situation, it started off with a brand reaching out to me. So let's go with, I guess the most recent one, which would have been Disney. So Disney reached out to me to do a react video to their trailer of Cruella. Really exciting, which was great. I really was excited to see the movie. They added in an added bonus where I got a private screening of Cruella before it came out. So that was also great. It sucked for my friends because they were like, oh, I want to see it. And I was like, too late. So they reached out to me with a very quick timeline. I think it's harder when brands decide to move very quickly, they're trying to destruct a creator from thinking about it. Because in that timeline, like I was like, oh, I want to work with them. And then when it got to the part of this is the timeline, this is what I had to do, this is the money, you kind of have to take a pause. You're like, oh, this is an exciting opportunity. And they're like, you only have 24 hours to decide. And that's really what it was. I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, they sent me an email at 11. I had to decide by like 5 p.m. And I'm like, whoa, what if I didn't see this email? So it was a really fast moving project. I think it was like before the end of the week, I was like, I was reached out to on Monday. My video had to be up by Thursday. It's fast. It's fast. I think I sent the contract to my agent. She looked it over really quickly. She sent it back to me. She had some concerns. We reached back with a larger amount of money. They came back and they were like, okay, let's talk to legal. Legal at the end of the day was like, okay, we can do this. And then it went back and forth from there. I think by Tuesday morning, I sent them my first draft of content. They sent it to Disney, who then sent it to their legal department. So both of them are simultaneously watching my videos at the same time, and both have their comments. They came back to me with all their comments. I reshot by the end of the day, Tuesday, sent it back. Same thing happened. And it was a constant process until like Thursday morning when they were like, oh, it's finally done. You're good, and post it. It moves really fast. And I think it's really hard on creators when they don't have a quick timeline to do it. I think it's on to brands that when you find out this information that your client wants to work with, whatever, like reach out as soon as possible. It is really hard to try to come up with a content idea and do it really quickly. I think for me, it was easy because it was like, I'm reacting to this. They had like specific guidelines of things I had to say, music I had to use. So definitely also give as much detail as possible. I think there was a good example was when I worked with Pepsi, it was for Black Restaurant Week. I got like the bare minimum of like, we want to work with you, you have free range. And I was like, that doesn't help. Like, I don't want to send you a video and you hate it and I have to start from scratch. Luckily enough, I was able to sit down with the brand and basically like ask some questions, get some answers. And that also leads into brands, make yourself available to discuss with your content creators. Like if you're going to send an email, also maybe set a meeting, because they might have 1,000 questions that they can answer in like 20 minutes than doing it back and forth in an email. That's 100%. I think that was the one thing that was really great with Pepsi. They were able to sit down with me the day before I went to shoot and answered all my questions. They were like, what food am I eating? Things like that. And they were also communicating with the restaurant because I have dietary restrictions. And I was like, oh, I can't eat these certain type of things. Like, you know, and they were able to like work that out. And so when I got there, I edited 3 videos in the course of an hour with my brother, sent it back. And they were also very timely with their comments. Again, I was lucky that I didn't have to go reshoot. But that's what I'm saying. So I guess like if I had to summarize it, it was experience with brands can be really fast. Try to slow it down. Bring as much detail as possible when you're reaching out to a content creator. Definitely, if you have the opportunity to sit down with them, build a list of creators you see on the app. These creators are willing to work with you. Build a list. So when you like, for example, like Chef John is part of the food community. His name is Chef John Kong. And so anytime I know food things are happening, John is going to be reached out to. Ahmed is going to be reached out to. My friend, the Korean vegan, is going to be reached out to, because the brands that are reaching out to them have them on a foodie creator list, right? Because it's food related content, or it could be movie related content. It just, you know, prepare the creators you want to work with, have as much detail as possible. Also, don't undervalue these creators. Their platforms, yeah, they might have 10,000 followers, but their engagement could be hundreds of thousands or millions. So definitely as a brand, also ask for engagement. You can ask them to screenshot their engagement within the last 7 days or 30 days. I would go with the last 30 days because that's a little more accurate. You can have like days off, but definitely ask for engagement. It's very, very important because you want to see like how many videos, what days work, those things like that. And yeah, I hope that answered the question and gave a lot more detail.
It did. It most definitely did. Thank you so much. That was so good. And I hope that folks were taking notes. I can't wait to go back to listen to the recording because man, there was some stuff I was like, ooh, Wait. Yep. All right. I need to take that. So Sarah, in respect to TikTok, right? Like what has been your experience as a new pro who's co-founded her own social media agency? And, you know, have your clients been receptive to the suggestion of utilizing TikTok? And like, how do you encounter like resistance? And we talked a little bit about resistance earlier.
Yeah, of course. So a lot of my clients have been kind of, their main focus has been Instagram and maybe Facebook after all of these years. And so they've been seeing, oh, like reels have been happening, and TikTok is starting to be popular. So they've all been very interested in it, but they don't have like really any clue on how it kind of works. And it's kind of like the old school thinking that things need to be professional, things need to look a certain way and everything. But that's not what TikTok is about. TikTok is more about just the average person, or what's funny, or kind of, I guess, whatever behind the scenes of a brand itself. So I think that's kind of like the resistance, because there's just like an old school of thinking for advertising and social media of how things look. And Instagram really made it a point over this past few years that everything had to look aesthetically pleasing. So it's definitely a hard shift for brands and companies to switch over to TikTok, where you can literally just film something on your phone, post it, and have great engagement and content with your followers. So definitely something that I've been seeing with my clients, but trying to push them to try new things, especially with Instagram Reels now coming out, even though it is a copycat of TikTok, basically. Instagram is trying to push out Reels. So they're going to be trying to push out your content that you post. So trying to hop onto another thing, if you kind of missed the TikTok wave, try to hop on Reels as well and double post onto Facebook, onto Instagram, and onto TikTok as well. So try to just be open to anything that you can, and go forth from there.
That is good. I think like, so I'm gonna pose this question to anyone who wants to answer, you know, at this point, but I've heard that, you know, of course, individuals cross promote, you know, so they use the same content that they made on TikTok and throw it on the reels and call it a day. I've been guilty of doing it as well. However, what I'm hearing is that individuals' engagement goes up when they do that. So has anybody else experienced that with the brands that you're working with? All right, so Tega Auroria, like, oh, that's me. So I want to hit on that. So by all means, everybody can respond.
Okay, so this is some inside tea, so I hope this helps.
Yes, inside tea.
Definitely repurpose your content. 100%. If you have content on TikTok, it will work on Instagram, it will work on Reels, and it will work on YouTube Shorts. Something you should know. I'm not going to say Instagram is dying, but also consider making your content also on YouTube Shorts. I'm actually part of the YouTube Shorts creator community. They reached out to me. They were like, you're great on TikTok, you'll be great on Shorts. It's giving you the same money as like a long form content video on YouTube. Two, your engagement is also kind of the same on like TikTok as it will be on Shorts. For example, right now, all my content that's on my Instagram timeline is all my videos that are 1.3 or higher million views on TikTok. I literally just save it, post it 3 times a week, and my engagement grows. I think some tips on engagement is definitely post. You don't have to post a reel every single day. Don't do it. It's too much work. Don't do it. Legitimately post at least 3 reels a day. Make sure you're doing at least 5 to 12 Instagram stories, as well as you're posting on your main page at least 3 times a week. I do Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Those are the highest engagement days for sure that I've seen, as well as my friends are doing it. If your platform keeps growing, so for example, Dylan LeMay, he's the Cold Stone dude, he posts every single day. And what does he do? He posts the exact same video that he posts on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Shorts. They all have different engagements, but they're all high because it's the same content. He's not wasting time remaking content for each platform. 1, that's just kind of stupidity. And 2, it's great quality content that you don't need to change. So definitely do that. And definitely prioritize YouTube Shorts. If you're saying TikTok is it, YouTube Shorts is next. is something that wholeheartedly I agree on. So I just wanted to chime in on that part.
All right. So as I was saying, Eric, Chad, I'm going to throw this at you, right? Being practitioners, you know, one of the things that we are really big on is creating content, you know, for your various, diversifying your content as far as like what outlet is concerned. And even though like Tega was saying, like, hey, don't recreate the wheel, just whatever you use there, going ahead and use it over on Instagram, like, is that old rule out the window now?
Yeah, I mean,
Go ahead, Eric.
okay, sounds good. I think, yes and no would probably be the best way to answer that question. Because yes, different platforms have different audiences, and you always have to keep the audiences in mind. But what the beauty of social media is that like you have real-time analytics, and you can test what works and what doesn't work. So, there might be some content that performs well on TikTok that will perform well on Instagram, and maybe it doesn't perform from platform to platform. Data is key. I always like to say that data should drive all the decision making that you do for your clients, yourself, your personal brand. So if the data is telling you that it's working, keep doing it. If the data is telling you that it's not, then pivot. Social media is just a really, really good space to test and learn.
That's good. Chad?
Just to echo that point, back in my quote unquote political days, when writing key messages for some of our clients, the way we would actually do it is by just putting it out there on social media, seeing if this specific lead or sequence of words really engaged people and they latched onto it. And if it did, that becomes a graphic. Then you invest more resources in it. And if it doesn't, then you drop it and move on. So to Eric's point, yeah, there's a lot of potential, not only on your brand ones, but on your personal ones. Put it out there. A lot of people on this call, I'm sure, other people in your industry follow you. They work with you. They are a nice little kind of set of guinea pigs to figure out, does this work or not? And it can save you money, it can save your client money. And at the end of the day, you'll have a pretty good data set of what works and what doesn't.
That's good. All right, so we're going to head on over to the Q&A because we have quite a few that's coming in, and I want to make sure that we're able to answer the questions as they come in. So we have one from, hi, Rachel. This is from Rachel. She's on our board, and she says, Meta's Reels have not taken off like TikTok has. Do you see a future in those videos to grow with engagement, especially as they are now on Facebook as well as Instagram? Or do you think that they'll fizzle out? And that can go for anyone. And I'm gonna throw this at Sarah. Go ahead, Sarah.
So what was the question again? You're talking about Meta's.
Oh yeah, we're talking about Meta's Reels,
Instagram?
right? Like, yeah, like, do we think, they haven't taken off just yet? But do we see like a future of those videos like growing as far as engagement is concerned, because they're on two platforms, Facebook and Instagram? Or do we think that they're really going to fizzle out?
I wouldn't say they would fizzle out per se. I think people will end up starting to like videos more and stuff, but I do think that Facebook and Instagram Reels, I guess, are way farther behind on TikTok trends. And that's something I'm seeing when I'm seeing other brands creating something through Reels, is that they may be farther behind. Or I guess a lot of people now our age too, like Gen Z and millennials, they are on TikTok, but they're not looking at the Reels content. They're not looking at the Reels page, I guess. So I definitely think that they may have to figure out a way to kind of incentivize the Reels. And I know that Instagram Reels is now pushing out for creators to be able to, or creators or companies, they're really pushing it out since the algorithm is just so messed up on Instagram. And I think they're also creating some kind of program too, to where if you create a certain amount of Reels a day or something like that too, they'll give you incentives. But I honestly don't think it's going to thrive. I think it's just another feature that they're just trying to copy from TikTok. And I think TikTok has really made it clear that that's kind of their field. But yeah, and also a lot of it has to do with recycled content too. I think that TikTok is probably just going to be the great video platform, and then obviously hopefully YouTube Shorts too, as Tega was saying.
I agree about YouTube Shorts. I do. So taking part in YouTube Shorts, is there a specific, because I know like with certain with your YouTube account, like you have to have so many different, so many subscribers and so many, minutes, viewed and all of that, to even gain any type of monetary, side of things. So like, are shorts available to any and everybody, or is it just like, hey, your content got to be popping in order for you to have shorts?
No. So for good examples, they sat us down. You can start from zero. Start from zero. And that's what they basically said. You don't have to have a subscriber base. You just have to have good quality content. It is same monetary value. They do have kind of like a gateway program that it's like month by month. And so your total views, it's not just for one video, it's your total views from that month will give you your total amount. There was actually a creator, so we have a creator chat actually tonight, which is funny. We have a creator chat tonight, and the creator chat we had the last time, it was with a content creator who's on TikTok. He has 21 million followers. He said what he did was he started from zero and posted the exact same content that he did from TikTok onto shorts. I think number one tip is if you're repurposing your content from TikTok to shorts and to reels and to Instagram, screen record it. YouTube and Instagram has made it very clear that they don't want to see the little floating TikTok icon thing. They'll try to suppress you that way, or hint they will, but they actually do. So screen record that content. YouTube Shorts has made it very clear if they see a watermark, that video is ineligible monetarily. So definitely don't have the little floating TikTok thing. So screen record it and repost it that way. So that will help your monetary value. Anyone can be in the Creator Shorts program, a business, a non-business, a person, a group, an entity. People like Mariah Carey, like actual celebrities, can use whatever content they want and post it there, and they will still make money. It's the same content. What YouTube is hoping to do within the next year is that when you actually log in on your computer or on your phone, your shorts will be at the very top, followed by the long form videos on the very bottom. So they're really trying to be like, watch the like short form and stay on here a while, compared to be like, oh, I'll just press play and like, play in the background. So definitely that will help.
Good deal. So I want to also shoot over this question to Chad. So Chad, we have a question from the audience, and it says, have you counseled clients regarding the privacy concerns of TikTok? And I know we talked a little bit about that earlier, and so talk to us a little bit about your experience with that.
Assuming it means like whether or not TikTok has your data, yeah, I have talked about it, and the answer is the same for every other platform. They already have it. If you wake up in the morning and think that no one's tracking you, you don't really know what's going on. They are all tracking you. They're all building databases on us. They're modeling our behavior. They're predicting our behavior. There is no way out of that. Pandora's box is open. There are specific steps that you can take by restricting your privacy settings across all your platforms, making sure you're using different usernames, not using the same image across them, not using them at all is always an option. But beyond that, and beyond utilizing those specific tools, it should be understood more or less generally that every single social media platform, pretty much anything you do digitally is being tracked, monitored, added to a database and definition about you that will be utilized probably for profit at some point in your life.
Oh, wait, that was good. All right, so and I want to throw another. So we talked about repurposing content, and then also so we have another question too, and it says we are considering, this person's job is considering using TikTok to promote their tech campuses, and after this campaign we probably won't use the platform again. So do you suggest starting and stopping campaigns on this platform? What would you advise this particular company? And this is open to anyone.
I can take a stab at it.
Go for it, Eric.
Yeah. you don't want to start and stop. I mean, I think that really, like, if you open up a presence, you gotta be somewhat committed to keeping that presence alive and to keep the content there. I think that if the idea is to promote your tech campus, perhaps there's a talent recruitment play that you could use on TikTok there too, because odds are, part of the audience that you're trying to reach from a talent recruitment standpoint is on TikTok, and they would want to see that behind the scenes content and that culture and what makes that tech campus so unique. So, I wouldn't necessarily I would definitely recommend using TikTok as a platform to promote that information. I don't think that I would recommend starting and stopping though.
That is good.
I'd also, just one other thing about TikTok, you can actually run TikTok ads for a brand without having a TikTok account. So there's kind of, it's not the ideal scenario, but it is possible and a nice entry point into getting people's toes in the water and comfortable with it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Sarah?
Well, I also think too, I kind of agree that it's a very bad decision to basically start a campaign and then just end it off right there, because you are a tech campus, and if primarily your focus is on technology, why aren't you here? And why can't you show off those skills basically? And also, what happens if this campaign does really well, or like something like that? Or what if in the future it does really well? Why don't you just stay on TikTok? Why don't you continue to grow? Because that's also the basis of being a tech campus, I would assume too, is that you're always growing, always changing. So why not try to utilize that feature? And who knows, your tech campus may blow up even more just because of that,
That is good. Tega, do you have anything?
No, I definitely would say keep going. So for right now, a good example is U of M's University of Michigan Ann Arbor has a TikTok page. They actually did something really cute, and they asked students, like, what are they excited for the holidays? And they went through like a dining hall. That video is doing really well. And then I looked on their page, and there's videos that aren't doing really well, but there's videos that are doing really well. They're consistent. They keep going. Honestly, consistency is key. I think any creator will tell you that, any business will tell you that. You will try and you will fail. That's okay. The app will not hate you for it, but the app will reward you for consistency. For example, like when I started, like, yes, I'm posting 18 to 20 videos a day, but that's racking up 200,000 videos, 200,000 views, sorry. But that's 5 or 6 of those videos have failed, and then other videos are doing well. So definitely consistency, keep going, try new things. And you never know, like, one video will go viral and really change your perspective. For example, the biggest example is Duolingo. Amazing. They have been trying and failing, and then they've been doing really well. Really, really well. And I know the creator behind Duolingo. She is great. She is skilled. And she talks about how, like, it was a failure in the beginning, and then it's now being successful. So yeah, keep going.
I love it. I love it. Here, you guys.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think Tega brought up a really, really good point about the University of Michigan. And for this particular, participant who asked the question about the tech campus and potentially shutting it off, utilize your team members and utilize the people that work for you. Because usually, like, at least in my experience, when clients have talked about like starting and stopping, the resource argument comes into play, where it's like, we just don't have enough time to keep up with it, right? Or we just don't have the resource, or we're just too busy to keep up with it. Utilize your team members. Odds are they're on TikTok, and they probably know TikTok better than than the people in the C-suite executives. So utilize them to create content for you and have them help amplify your messaging.
I love it. I love it. Well, I am full, and I'm pretty sure all of our attendees is full. I do want to give a personal shout out to Nikki over at U of M. She is my dearest friend, and they kill it all the time. And I tell her that like, I want to be like you when I grow up. So I know she had wrote in the chat, so she did say thank you, Tega, for that. But just want to say just a quick thank you to everyone who attended today's program. We hope that you received a wealth of knowledge concerning TikTok and helping your clients as well as yourselves to get out there and just do it. If I have to say anything and wrap up this program is Just Do It. So of course, we ran a little over, and we want to make sure that we have enough time for networking and conversation with our panelists as well as our attendees. So from PRSA Detroit, we just want to say thank you so much for joining us and attending today's events. And we can't wait to see your TikToks.